number of COVID-19 cases continues to rise globally and right here in Guyana. Therefore, we encourage everyone to practice social distancing, wear a mask if you have to leave your homes, and wash your hands thoroughly and frequently as we strive to stop the spread of the virus. Welcome to InfoHub for Thursday, July 2. Thanks for joining us. Speaking on the sidelines of a recent event, President David Granger brought clarity to several issues. More in our first report. The head of state pointed out that he cannot concede or claim victory until the Guyana Elections Commission makes an official declaration.
I cannot claim victory, which I have not done, and I cannot concede defeat, which I have not done, unless I'm notified formally by the Chairman of the Election Commission what the results of that elections of the 2nd of March.
President Granger also addressed the comments made by former Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin.
I don't have any comments on what former ministers say. I have comments on what active members say. In that regard, I must advise that the coalition, well, first the partnership. I'm a leader of a party called the People's National Congress Reform. My party has certain institutions. Congress, General Council, it has a constitution and a central executive committee. As far as the other four partners in the APNU are concerned, they make statements on their own account. That is to say, the Guyana Action Party, the Justice for All Party, the National Front Alliance, and the Working People's Alliance. I do not dictate what they say, although I have every expectation that what they say and do would be in accord with the principles of the entire partnership. And we meet, and the Justice for All Party has never been excluded, especially over the last 17 weeks, from any meeting of APNU. I am not responsible for what they say.
He also explained that the decision to have Commissioner Leslie James remain in his post was an administrative one.
We are in a very abnormal period of Guyanese history, and the Commissioner of Police was required to supervise a special operation to ensure that there was no disturbance of the peace. There was no disorder during the election period. And that is the reason why he is still at his post. As you know, on Friday the 6th of March, there was violence in region number 5, and the police had to be deployed. So there was a specific operation which had been planned for that election period, and Commissioner Leslie James was required to remain at his post.
The Caribbean Court of Justice will rule next Wednesday, July 8, on whether it has jurisdiction to grant the leave of appeal filed by the People's Progressive Party, challenging the decision of Guyana's Court of Appeal. Alexis Rodney has the details.
The Court of President, the Honorable Justice Adrian Saunders, the Honorable Justice Jacob Witt, Honorable Madam Justice Maureen Rajnaut Lee, the Honorable Justice Dennis Barrow, and the Honorable Justice Peter Jamadar heard the virtual submissions in the matter on Wednesday. Parties were asked to address 4 issues: whether Guyana's Court of Appeal had the jurisdiction to entertain the Eslin David versus GCOM application, and if the court lacked jurisdiction, what is the consequence concerning the proposed appeal to the CCJ? They were also called to answer if the Court of Appeal had rightly decided jurisdiction, what is the consequence of that in relation to the proposed appeal to the CCJ? They were asked whether the Court of Appeal rightly assumed the jurisdiction and exceeded that jurisdiction, and what is the consequence of that in relation to the proposed appeal to the CCJ. Because assuming jurisdiction of the matter will be a clear contravention to Article 177(4) of the Constitution and Part 2 of the Caribbean Court of Justice Act, Chapter 307, Attorney General Senior Counsel Basil Williams reiterated that the CCJ could not hear the matter.
I am respectfully recommending the decision in the Court of Appeal of then Chief Justice Dan Japan since 1980. It's a good vintage. But it is clear that if your honors were to venture into the merits of what my learned friend, Mr. Mendez, has proposed in his recent submission to you, the intended appellant's reply, that the appellant's case, this is really a remodeling of my learned friend's approach to this matter. The appellant's case is that the Court of Appeal did not make a decision. Your Honors would be going to the merits of the appeal purported appeal emanating out of the Court of Appeal of Guyana. And that, of course, Your Honors, we've all agreed that there's no jurisdiction where that has expressed to be final.
Similar arguments were put forward by lawyer for APNU AFC's Joseph Harmon, senior counsel Reginald Armour. Earlier arguments by attorney for Eslyn David, senior counsel John Jeremy showed that even if the CCJ finds that the appeal court did not have jurisdiction to hear the Eslyn David versus JICA matter, it still cannot assume or pronounce on the decision of the appeal court. Following the arguments, CCJ President Justice Saunders said the court will deliberate on the matter and give its ruling next Wednesday at 15 hours. For InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
The National COVID-19 Task Force has announced that Phase 2 of the 6-phase reopening process will commence on Friday, July 3. As previously announced, Phase 1 of the reopening process comes to an end today. Phase 2 is scheduled to commence on July 3 and last till July 16, 2020. For Phase 2, all allowances and measures in Phase 1 will be maintained, and additionally, the manufacturing sector, public sector construction, and medical schools will be permitted to operate during the non-curfew hours. Further, the 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew will remain in effect in all administrative regions for the duration of Phase 2. Guyana's airports remain closed to international passenger flights, save and except for flights which have been granted special permission, mainly for the repatriation of Guyanese who are stranded overseas. More news after this short break. Stay with us.
The COVID-19 pandemic has had a devastating effect on communities all across Guyana. Many households and individuals now find themselves in need of public assistance. The government of Guyana will be assisting the most vulnerable. Those eligible to apply for this assistance are as follows: individuals and/or households who are currently benefiting from public assistance provided by the Ministry of Social Protection. Individuals and/or households who applied for public assistance and are awaiting a response from the Ministry of Social Protection. Individuals and/or households who suffered a loss of income due to COVID-19, and households headed by senior citizens or persons with disabilities. Application forms can be downloaded from the Ministry of Social Protection's website at www.mosp.gov.gy or government.gy/eform/241. For further information, please call these numbers. We are in this together. This is a message from the Government of Guyana. We are here to serve you.
Welcome back. The first set of persons who received the COVID-19 public assistance vouchers uplifted their items today. InfoHub was down at Survival Supermarket and spoke with some of the recipients. InfoHub visited Survival Supermarket on Thursday and spoke to some of the beneficiaries who praised the government for the initiative.
I think it's a very good gesture that they're doing, and I thank God and God bless them for doing it. I feel happy about it.
For me, it feels very nice that this is something good they're doing to the nation, and we're very thankful for that.
As in relation to the contribution which they are given from the pandemic release, I think it is very good effort that it will be able to help people along the way.
The Government of Guyana, through the collaborative efforts of the Ministry of Finance, the Civil Defense Commission, the Ministry of Social Protection, the COVID-19 Task Force Secretariat, and the Guyana Post Office Corporation, commenced the distribution of COVID-19 public assistance vouchers to eligible persons. Beneficiaries were required to apply online by calling the Ministry of Social Protection to register for the COVID-19 Public Assistance Program. Chief Executive Officer of the Small Business Bureau, Dr. Lowell Porter, says the Bureau can play a critical role in the development and expansion of co-ops. Isaiah Braffett tells us more.
Dr. Porter was at the time making a presentation via a Zoom meeting in observation of International Cooperative Day slated for July 4. He highlighted that the SBB provides access to finance and would like to see small businesses and vulnerable groups in outlying regions take more advantage of the financial assistance.
We want to work together with any group, co-ops, clusters, because the bottom line is that if we don't support the small businesses, we run the risk of losing that opportunity for small business to grow into medium and to large. And we want to day by day create the expertise so that we can better support these small businesses, and hope that the government will continue to facilitate investment in small business development.
He noted that finance is available in the form of grants and loans.
We have grants currently available, and those grants are at $200,000 per grantee. It used to be $1 million, went to 500,000 to 300,000, and we're down to 200. And we're hoping that that would come up back at least to $500,000. In terms of the loans, loans are available up to $30 million. And note that the interest rate is 6%, right? Lower than any other bank in the country.
He is encouraging everyone to make contact with the Bureau, stressing that the Bureau is there to help grow small businesses.
We are here to support small business development. And I believe that if we can all cooperate with our expertise that is right here in front of us today, we can build a legacy that we can leave for all those coming after us in Guyana.
The theme for this year's International Cooperative Day is Cooperative Education and Life, Livelihood and Lifelong Learning. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
Remember to do your part to ensure you do not put yourself at risk during this time. If you have a cough, fever, and a difficulty breathing, seek medical care early, but call the hotline first. That's all for today. Connect with us on all our social media platforms, including WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, as we bring you the latest and important news related to COVID-19 and much more. Also, subscribe to our website, dpi.gov.gy. Your Bridge Report is up next. Goodbye for now.